Well, anytime you're feeling lonely, anytime you're blue, well, anytime you feel downhearted, that'll prove your love for me is true. Anytime you're thinking about me, you can be sure I'm thinking about you. Anytime you say you want only my love, that's the time I'll come back home to you. Well, anytime world gets lonely, you find your friends are few. Oh, anytime you see a rainbow, that's a sign the storm is through. Now, anytime will be the right time. Oh, anytime will do. Anytime you say you want me back again, that's the time I'll come back home to you. Well, anytime will be the right time. Oh, anytime will do. Anytime you say you want only my love, that's the time come back home to you. Oh, I love that song. I really do. If I had to name like my top 10, songs of all time, Anytime is definitely going to make it in the list. I mean, I've talked a lot about Emmett Miller. I thought it was time we do an Emmett Miller song. If you've never heard of Emmett Miller, I want you to go right now to Google his name, Emmett Miller. You will see a blackface comedian. What does that mean? That means a white man who wore black soot on his face to appear to be black. And he was a comedian. And while we find that offensive in our era, we have to remember that in the 1920s it was really common. There were white men who wore blackface, there were black men who wore whiteface. It was all part of a comedy routine. Emmett Miller is, well, one, he was genuinely funny. I mean, I would say maybe 5% of his comedy was like racially offensive, okay? 95% of it was genuinely funny, and you'll see a lot of his sketches were reused in later years by Abbott and Costello or Olson and Johnson. The dude was really extremely talented. But the most important thing about Emmett Miller, well, the two things most important, he was the first guy to blend country and blues with the emerging jazz coming out of New Orleans, Dixieland. And he did it seamlessly, he did it beautifully. He had this kind of odd voice. Anytime would become a major hit, 20, 30 years later for Eddy Arnold. Eddy Arnold had that beautiful dulcet tones. Anytime would be the right time. I mean, Eddy Arnold, he was in a class by himself as a singer. Hank Williams Sr. would do Lovesick Blues. Note for note, exactly the way it was done by Emmett Miller. Maybe I'll do that in a couple of weeks. I mean, everyone knows, I got a feeling called the blues, oh, since my baby said goodbye. That was purely copied from Emmett Miller. Became Hank Williams' biggest hit. Right or Wrong, Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys had a huge hit with it. Everybody who redid an Emmett Miller song a generation later became famous by doing Emmett Miller songs. Even Leon Redbone, he did Big Bad Bill was Sweet Willie Now or something. Really kind of a minor Emmett Miller song. He turned into one of his signature tunes. The dude was light years ahead of his time. And, okay, so here's this blackface comedian from Georgia, down in the Macon area. Here's a perfect example. He played this character called Sam. That was his blackface character. Okay, now I know people are going to get offended. Don't get offended. We all laugh at ourselves and we laugh at each other. This is country humor, whether it's black or white. So he goes in for a job. He's applying for a job. And the fellow says, and the guy doing the white voice could have very well been Scatman Crothers, the great Scatman Crothers, black musician, jazz singer, comedian, was on Sanford Son a few times. You may remember him for that. I love Scatman Crothers. I grew up watching Hong Kong Phooey. He was the voice of Hong Kong Phooey. But anyway, Scatman Crothers, one of my favorites of all time, may have done the white voice on this recording. He says, "Hello, Sam. I see you here for a job." And, "Yes, sir, I'm here for a job, Captain." You know, they're going back and forth. It's this banter thing. And he says, "Well, tell me, Sam, where you from? Where were you born?" He says, "Well, I'm from Hepzibah, Georgia." "How you spell that, Sam?" H-E-P, I'm from Rome. I'm from Rome, Georgia. R-O-M-E, Rome. I mean, it's just basic comedy. And, I'm sorry it has a racial component, but that was very common in the 20s. Now, stop being offended and realize that Emmett Miller brought essentially black music, blues and jazz, into white music. Essentially, he's the first rock and roll singer. He's the first jazz singer outside of New Orleans. He's the guy that literally transformed American music. He literally brought it into the next century. In the 1920s, Emmett Miller took blues, jazz, and country, mixed them together, and created the music we all know and love today. I don't care if you grew up on the Allman Brothers or Warren Zevon or punk rock or Led Zeppelin, Eric Clapton. Everybody owes it. All country music, post, Gid Tanner and the Skillet Lickers. I mean, bluegrass even owes its roots to Emmett Miller. He was the true father of country music, and the other reason he's so important is because he was Jimmy Rogers' mentor. Jimmy Rogers traveled with him and learned to perform from Emmett Miller. Emmett Miller's band will blow your mind. I told you Scatman Crothers was in there sometimes. His guitar player was the father of jazz guitar, Eddie Lang. Both Dorsey brothers played in his band. I mean, Glenn Miller played in Emmett Miller's band. Imagine you're in the South in like Model T cars in the 1920s going from medicine shows and little circuses and fairs and beer joints. Eddie Lang, Tommy and Jimmy Dorsey, Glenn Miller, and probably Scatman Crothers, at least at certain times. I mean, if that doesn't blow your mind, you have to. I believe it's still available on archive.org, like all his recordings. Get them, learn them, love them, get past 2026, whatever this year is, racial mindsets, and just realize that country people are country people. And this music was groundbreaking. Groundbreaking. Now, let's get into it. It is a cycle of fifths progression. It's in the key of C. It's hard to tell on those old records whether this is an open C. It's impossible to tell who's playing it. If it was Eddie Lang, Eddie Lang would have played it more like this. That's the way Eddie Lang would have played it. So, if we're going to follow a cycle of fifths, it literally just sits for 2 beats on C. So I just go... It just follows the melody. And then you're in an A7, D7, G7, C. So, leaving the finger picking aside for a minute, I'll do it kind of more like the way it is on the record. Well, anytime you're feeling lonely, anytime you're blue, anytime F, you feel downhearted, back to C. I'm playing a C6 right now. Eddie Lang probably would have played a C6. He liked the 6th chord. If not, it would have been open C, which was far more common in Dixieland type recordings. May have been, if anybody else was playing it other than Eddie Lang, it would have been open C. I mean, just C major. So, but you hear the way that rings? There's a good bounce. It's like a Western swing sock rhythm. There's no Western swing without Emmett Miller. There's no Milton Brown. There's no Bob Wills. There's no Bob Wills is still the king without Emmett Miller. And they did so many of his songs. I think they literally recorded almost everything the man ever did. Okay, so we're back to C. D7, G7, and I'm playing just those real simple 7s here, like that, for the A7 and for the G7. And then hit C for another 2 notes, back to A7, D7, G7, but this time we go to E7, and then A7, D7, G7, and C. So, the chord progression, we discussed the cycle of fifths before. It's, okay, you can also think of it as cycle fourths, as I've always said. It just depends on how you count. So we're going A7 to D. D, E, F, G, A. The A is the 5th of D. But A, B, C, D, the D is the 4th of A. So you can think of it either way. You can think of it as cycle of fifths, or you can think of it as cycle of fourths. In early books, it was written as cycle of fourths. Everybody calls it the cycle of fifths now. It doesn't really matter. Just remember you're going E7, A7, D7, G7, C. And you can turn that to a tag. You go something like that, right? You can just put that on the end. Bob Wills did that a lot in his music. Now, I'm going to pick it the way I did. I went. I'm keeping an alternating kind of Chet Atkins style bass going there. Just plain open C. Walk down. F. C. D7. G7. A7. D7. G7. E7. And back down A7. D7. G7. C. Alright, that's the chord progression. That's the whole song. For the breaks, the first one I did followed that very similarly on. And I'm going to grab that F-shaped chord now for my both the A7 and G7. So slide your F up. Sounds a little strange. Emmett Miller would have liked that. So Emmett Miller would have liked that a lot, actually. All right, so that's it. Just back and forth with the pinky finger. So to the D7, and I'm just going to let this one ring. I think that open E is a nice contrast there. G7, C. Walk down, F. Then it's actually to F6 by dropping that pinky there. C. Grab that G note there because we're going into the G7. Or you can go. It was D. I'm sorry, I said G. It was D7 like this. Again, I just think that ring kind of, that's a lot like what I'm doing here. Here, or, well, here I'm going. And, you know, we got an A chord right here, I mean, a C chord right here of sort of an A shape, so I'm going to go. That's it, it's actually a C6 just by barring across the 5th fret. Now to E7, and now slide it around, back to A7, D7, G7. So it's super simple, I'll just go through it one time. Second break, C chord of the F position up here, A7, D7, G7, C, F, C, D7, G7. G7, E7, back to A7, D7, where we go? I skipped a chord. A7, D7, G7, D7, or C here. I don't think there's a lot to discuss there. Just this is the same D chord, E chord, that becomes an A7. Just fool it around there. That F-shaped chord all the way up here becomes a D7. The G7 is the same as the A7. Which is the same as the D, just slide down one. Alright, F is an A-shaped F chord. Just drop that finger. C. We'll play the D7 in this position here. That's the same as an A7, moved up to a D7. And a G7 here. That's C, D, E, F, G, right? Back to C, A, 7, F, I'm sorry, D7, G, that's the same, G7, A7, moved all the way up to an E7. You gotta try to see if you can play it cleanly, and there you go. Back to A7, D7, G7, D7, or let me see, G7. I'm actually just going G7 to, yeah, G7. The others, this, just two notes here. C chord. Actually fairly simple. We've gone through all this before. So y'all have fun with it, love it. Go learn about Emmett Miller's music. You will love Emmett Miller. Become a prophet of Emmett Miller. Become an apostle of Emmett Miller. Tell everybody about Emmett Miller. He was the greatest, probably the greatest musician of American history next to Louis Armstrong. Truly. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Talk to you next time.